Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate Investor Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andresa.
Welcome back, ladies. This is Liz.
And this is Andresa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Investor Show, minisode edition.
Where the hell are we?
We are at BPCON in lovely San Diego, California. And what's really exciting is that we are experiencing what it's like to be in building relationships, right? And it's different things for different people. So you have an extrovert here with Liz, and you have an introvert with Andresa. And we're
Surprise.
We're going to talk a little bit about the power of building relationships, but also how to set yourself up for success when you go to an event, especially with 2,000 people we're at BPCON with, or you go to an event with 30 people, what we're about to share with you. So let's start here.
Okay.
All right. Andresa, you are someone who needs her time and processing and in that introverted sort of style. And so large groups, or quite honestly, any size group.
Doesn't matter.
Matter. Could be a little overwhelming and actually drains you.
It does.
So
let me explain to all of you how it usually works, right? So I wake up with coins, and every single interaction that I have, the person takes a coin. So at the end of the day, I have 0 coins, right? Liz is an extrovert. She wakes up with 0 coins. So every interaction that she has, she gains that coin. So at the end of the day, we have a pair, 0 coins, trying to go to bed. And Liz is like, let's go. I am so pumped, right? So I learned how to be mindful of my energy, how to preserve my time. And the way that I do that is that I'm really selected with the people that I really want to build a relationship. So one thing that we did here is that we pre-schedule dinner with a few people, not a lot of people, and we had a good time. And we talk about real estate very little, but the most important thing that fill me up is to get to know the person, what's going on with her, support one another. And that fills me up instead of just talking about real estate and what we're going to do with this economy.
Yeah, that's great. I also, during my presentation, talked about the power of building relationships, especially right now in any economy, but especially with brokers, and you're trying to differentiate yourself from other people. And obviously differentiate yourself when you're meeting people, because you're going to meet a lot of people at conferences. To think that everyone's going to remember you, is ridiculous. So, you have to be really intentional. And I also talked about, and something that I do, especially as an extrovert, because what my challenge is that I'll meet people and chat with them. And then if I don't think about my intentions, then I'm like, oh, I didn't get a chance to do what I needed to do or wanted to do because I got wrapped up with some other conversation.
Like chit-chat conversation?
Yeah, chit-chat conversation that I don't even remember, nor is it going to propel anybody for any reason. So for me, being kind of like structured in some ways and being really crystal clear with my intentions is really important for me for any event. So I wrote my goals down. Coming into BPCON, these are the 5 things that I wanted to accomplish. These are the types of relationships I wanted to build. I was very laser focused, which is helpful for me. Because if not, left up to my own demise, I'll just chat with people. And that's not always the best use of my time.
Well, let me ask you a question, though. So there's more than 2,000 people over here, and you're going to talk to a few people. What would you recommend to the folks that are attending here? Because it gets a little overwhelming for people that are getting started or people that are already taking their business to the next level. Following up with a lot of people is also it's overwhelming. Yeah.
I shared this during the presentation. Most people go to events of any size and they actually do such a poor job of following up. When you're at an event and everyone's so excited and you become best friends with everyone and you feel like, I haven't known you for my whole life.
They already picked the LLC name.
And honestly, then you go back to reality, right? Kids need you. Everyone needs you. And then you're like, oh yeah, I was at that conference. And nothing changes. You're only going to grow your business by the relationships you build. So if you're not intentional, like laser focused on follow-up, I'm a big fan of creating like a plan for yourself, like a follow-up plan. 3 to 5 people, even up to 7 people that you want to follow up. And you do that within a day, maybe 2 days after an event.
Right away.
You can't do it in 2 weeks after the event. They don't even remember who you are. It's random. So don't do that. You really want to do it within a couple of days. Be very intentional with the follow-up and schedule maybe a 20-minute, 15-minute, half-hour sort of follow-up, very strategic. But if you don't do that, you meet people in vain. It becomes this thing like, where the conversation was wasted.
Collecting business cards. One thing that I do that I will recommend, because I won't remember people. So after talking to the person, I write a couple of things on the business card.
Yes, I do that too.
Why I'm going to follow up with this person, or what is the subject, or something that will remind her or me about who are we and why are we even connecting.
And I'll say this too. Most people are about themselves. And when you meet,
What do you mean?
meaning everyone's about, like, when you walk around and you're talking to people, most people are like, how can you help me? And in building relationships, you have to turn it upside down and say, how can I help them? And so I like to hear people and listen to what's important to them and say, how can I help them? We are, we're building our investor community and our brand and seeing how we can help companies connect them to women. I want to hear what's important to them, not just so I can just, throw them something to say, you need to do X, Y, and Z. I want to help them first. Absolutely. And most people don't do that.
You know that happened. I don't know if you remember. We are in San Diego and we have a meetup, local meetup, and we met with the meetup leaders around the area. And it's funny because we shared what we are up to with our meetups, and at the end, Jean from Florida, she asked us, "What can we do for you guys?"
Yeah.
And I think that is so important, because it doesn't really matter if you are a newbie or where you are with your career. There's always something that you can support somebody with. And that allows to a deeper relationship. And I think that sometimes people get very superficial. Hi, how are you? What do you do? I'm an investor. How many dollars you have? All right, great. Then what else? What else is there? So I think we need like one-on-one for our conversations, starter conversations.
Absolutely. And I'd say the last thing too is to always think that you can help someone and someone can help you. And so when you go into networking opportunities, events, conferences, and you have that way, like, who can I help? And where do I need help? And that's the big thing that I think about too, because then you can really set yourself up for success, and you be very intentional with helping other people. Those same people may not be able to help you, but someone else at that event can help you for some reason, anything. So I go into events like, where do we need some help? Oh, we're growing our team, or we're doing this. Like, I'm really laser focused on that.
And also the power of connections, right? Sometimes we connect with that person, and that person connects us with somebody else that they know. So don't just underestimate the conversations that you have with people. And it's really priceless. But I would say for the introverts, schedule alone time for you to recoup. Otherwise, you won't make it. You literally won't make it at the end. Make sure you're hydrated, you're keeping your time private on the schedule. Otherwise, it is just like you need a vacation from the conference.
I'll also say, though, for extroverts, I do get my energy from other people.
Okay.
And the coins, same thing. I love that. I love that analogy. But I know for me and where I am in my life, I need time by myself too. And a lot of extroverts get very confused about that, because they're like, why do I need time to myself? I just want to be with people. But I know how success looks like to me. So if I'm giving my energy, which pumps me up all day, at the end of the night, I can't go out for that additional, happy hour or whatever that is. I really need to shut my brain down too and just have some quiet time. So listen to yourself. I think women need to keep doing, whether they're an introvert or an extrovert, is listen to what they need and really set themselves up for what is their success look like.
What works for you. And we will test things out. But one thing that I would say is that don't feel guilty that you didn't make all the sessions, that you're like missing out. You're not mentally 100% there. So it doesn't really matter. Pick the sessions that you really want to dive into. You don't need to attend every single thing, and create a schedule that works for you.
Yes. And have a follow-up plan.
That's all we have for today. I hope you guys enjoy this special minisode. Ciao. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community,
and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.